So I started looking for work. And back then, because I'm so old, Jared.
Yeah, see?
How old are you, Jared? I got to ask.
We used to look for a job in a newspaper, right? I mean, I would literally get out the
Oh,
newspaper.
my word. Newspaper. I'm 28, so I can say that you guys are old.
Yeah, we're back.
Hey.
HUNTR Podcast, episode 64, as Colty keeps us in line.
Thank you, Colty.
Yes.
It's good to be here, man.
Yeah, man. It's March 1st today.
Oh, yeah.
We're out of February.
I forgot about that.
We're out of February now.
One down, one to go.
Yeah, crazy, man. It's funny. I just was coming in. Obviously, we're getting in the office later today, but it feels nice outside. It's windy. The thing is, anytime in February or March you get like a 50+ degree day, it's like guaranteed windy.
Yeah. I didn't even bring a hoodie today.
Wow.
I have a t-shirt all the way from the house to here.
I was sporting the shed season.
Shed season? Yeah, we're going to have Dwayne on here in a couple weeks.
Yep. So, yeah, it was really nice. I did walk on Sunday with Harlan for, I don't know, a mile and a half, and then he was tired. But yeah, we didn't find anything.
No. Where'd you go?
Scott's, up in the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, just walked in some areas. I had seen some, I've got some shed bucks on camera, but we just mainly walked around some of the food plots and stuff. Man, they're just destroyed. There's like nothing left in my food plots. Yeah, like baby clovers, like trying to make it, and like as soon as it like pops up, I think a deer eats it.
Yeah, that's a tough property to find sheds on though. It's just very limited food, and you know not a lot of it. They're probably just covering ground.
Yeah, I'm encouraged. So I may go to the Ohio farm this weekend, but next weekend I'm for sure going to be in Kentucky, and I've got I had a bachelor group of 7 bucks all shed out come through the other day. And so I've got some pretty good areas to check on that property, but
hopefully we're done with snow.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks like we've got a good trend here of at least 40s and 50s. We've got a couple like high 60s in the forecast too. We were talking about making our management kind of tasks. Like I've got, okay, here's what I need to do in March. I got a cut in Pennsylvania because I got trees coming in April. I've also got them clearing out some stuff behind the house here in the next 2 weeks. And it's like, holy cow, before we know it, I'm going to be spraying for beans, and it's like that fast.
You got time.
You say that. You say that now. But
it's definitely started thinking about it, but you ain't spraying for beans for a couple months here.
Yeah, no. But it's just, that's how fast I feel like it comes on. So I think it'll be good. I don't think
Dude, I've always felt that way. It's kind of sidebar here. I've always felt that way about like Sturgis's management plans, which obviously I respect. Yeah. I think they're superior to mine, but like, who has time to spray that much?
I don't know, man.
Guy's spraying like every food plot 3 times a year.
Yeah, I was just trying to think.
I could barely make it out there once.
I was just trying to think, like, if I was going to, you asked me if I was going to plant anything in that freshly cleared area, and if I can get it, into a tillable format, then yeah, I'll probably put rye or clover or something just to keep from erosion and then be able to disc that in later. But I don't think I'm going to plant clover on any of the other plots. I think I'm going to try beans in some areas and then just go heavy fall food plot. Brassicas or whatever we might do.
Yeah, I haven't rounded the corner yet. At some point, I'm like in a heavy work.
I love this time though. Like even if it's 40s, it doesn't matter. This time of year, this is like for the next 3 weeks in our area. If you're in the South, it's less than that. If you're in the Midwest, about the same. It's like the bare bones of the woods. And there's like, to me, this is the best time to go out, stretch the legs, get out of the cabin fever, and just like really go out and see kind of what the woods look like. Find the sign, maybe find a shed, penetrate those bedding areas, and just don't give 2 shits about it. And then reel her back in because it's going to get green up by first week of April.
Yep.
So
with them brush busters on there.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So we'll see. That's kind of the big thing. But so it's a Tuesday today. Typically we're filming podcast on Thursdays, but we had to reschedule this guest from 2 weeks ago, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Because he got the COVID. But he's back. Jeremy Eldredge, who from Hoyt. And Jeremy is in charge of the marketing at Hoyt. Been there for a long time. You kind of hear this around the industry is like, we talked about Alex Gilstrom from Whitetail saying it, but like how many people say there's not a better guy than Jeremy Eldredge.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing because like he's in a very, very important role. If you look at like what Hoyt has done here over the last, decade at least. you know, and who they've partnered with, like the Cam Haynes, obviously Rogan, Bill Winke, like they just hit the mark. Bone Collector just hit the mark on some of the right guys and the right audiences, and I think have taken a really different approach than the Matthews of the world.
Sure.
So yeah, it'll be cool to kind of get into that side of it. And Jeremy's a Western guy, which is obviously always intriguing.
Yeah,
to us.
Hoyt's from Salt Lake City.
Yep.
Utah.
Yep. So always intriguing to kind of hear the Western guy. We were shooting some Dakota stories there just before we jumped on here, but yeah, you know, Hoyt was a partner, one of the first partners that we got on board at HUNTR last year. And so we were kind of just thanking Jeremy for it, and that, like, you know, they took a risk on us of like, all right, these guys are going to make a podcast. Like, hopefully it's not in their mom's basement.
Yeah. It's in Jeremy's. So.
It's in my basement.
Essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. We have no windows here. So yeah, it's not in my mom's basement. But no, they supported us, and obviously we're Hoyt guys. Like, that is our
through
type
and
of,
through, man.
That's our type of brand. It's our type of bow.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, just, you know, it's built for guys like us, I feel like.
Yeah.
And hopefully a lot of the people.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. Like, I have nothing against Matthew. I think Matthew.
No,
I shot Matthews for a long time.
Man.
I shot that
Killed a lot of dudes.
adrenaline for years and years.
Yep.
And I just, you know, they're just, you know, there's a mainstream always. Like, there's gonna be something that becomes mainstream. And
Yep.
like Matthews, to me, like has done that. You know, I mean, their marketing's been super effective, and it's, you know, they've taken a certain brand voice and stuff, and like, so it's cool to be like a Matthews guy, but like, I've always wanted to be against the grain. Like, it's just in my nature to like see that mainstream and just stay away from it. You know, just to make our own path. And so I dig that about Hoyt.
And I know, and I think Matthews does now too, but like Hoyt has always been kind of on the upper end of the limb weights and things like that.
Oh, yeah, they make badass bows.
Somebody made a comment about like the 80-pound meathead or something on YouTube.
I didn't see that one.
We were doing our our challenge or our talk with Troy and those guys, Troy and Daryl.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was like, I was like the average dude pulling whatever, 65, 70. It was like the meathead pulling 80. Then it was like the physicist and like the blood enthusiast or something in
That's
Troy.
funny.
It was freaking great. So,
I'll own it.
anyways, if you haven't, you should check out that podcast, not just as a drop to us, but that thing is picking up a lot of momentum. And I think it's because people appreciated the view that we brought to the table, which is, cool, we get why you're shooting heavy arrows, but I also am killing whitetails and I want to find blood.
Yeah, the question you got to ask yourself is there such a thing as too much penetration? We believe the answer is yes. The remedy is a big cutting surface, mechanical broadhead.
Yeah, and that's it.
E equals MC squared.
I was going to make a penetration joke.
Okay, I see. I saved you from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you kept going.
Well, dude, for sake of time, let's get Jeremy in.
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Back to work.
There he is.
Hey guys.
Hey man, how are you?
Back to work, using every 5 minutes you get, huh?
That's right, man.
Well, are you Pacific or Mountain Time?
Mountain Time.
Okay, so you're just a couple hours behind us. I was gonna say it's still early in the day there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just finished lunch. So
there you go. Well, Jeremy, we appreciate you coming on, man. Jared and I kind of just got through our own pat each other on the backs of how we were so excited last year to actually have a partnership with Hoyt, because it's just the right brand for the style that we look for. And that's no knock to the other brands out there, but I think you guys have just really embraced, I said for the last decade, it's longer than that, but if you look at some of the people that you have even, partnered with on a flagship style, they are the people that we relate to the most, whether it's Cam Haynes, Bill Winke, Whitetail and the Bone Collector group. It's just the right guys. And that's not saying that other people don't have good partnerships from a bow manufacturing standpoint, but it seems like you guys just find a way to find the people that are the most relatable, is the way that I look at it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think styles and personalities and I don't know, they kind of just tend to line up sometimes. So
yeah. Well, and I think that from my end, and obviously you guys are a Western-based company, but at least for me being, born and raised East Coast whitetail guy, I felt like Hoyt really embraced that lifestyle. And that's, again, no knock to the other brands, but there's a lot of brands that really seem to be just if you're not the guy who's, hiking up a mountain in Colorado or Montana or whatever, you're not our guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And we obviously we realize we're in the West, so naturally, we tend to think maybe more like the Western hunter because it's what we get to do on the weekend, right? When we got a couple days to hunt, it's out here in the West. But I mean, we love whitetail hunting, like love it. A lot of our engineers, we have 2 engineers from Kentucky, we have an engineer from Pennsylvania, so a lot of our key employees, were born and raised in whitetail country anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then we completely understand where the market is. You know what I mean? Like we know we're probably selling 80% of our bows to whitetail hunters, even though we're way dominant in the West. We get it, man. You guys, you get a hunt, you can kill 3 deer a day, and we're lucky if we kill a deer in every 3 years,
Yeah.
So it's just we completely get it, and we love, like I said, I love hunting whitetails. One of my favorite hunts every year is a DIY hunt in South Dakota where me and some buddies, we all, one comes from Illinois, 2 guys from Michigan, me from Utah, and we meet in South Dakota. We bring all our own tree stands. We get to hang them where we want. We get to move them if we want to. It's just a do-it-yourself hunt, and it's my favorite hunt of the year. Like I love it, and I'll never miss it. I'll never miss that hunt. It's going to be on my schedule every single year. So, but not to say I don't love elk hunting. That's
Sure.
Yeah.
That's my passion too.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, one of the things that I've actually heard from like some mutual friends and just in passing is that if there's one thing that like they know about Jeremy Eldredge, it's that like when you get time to be in the woods and to do what you love, like you're not reachable. You know what I mean? Like you're doing it. And I really admire that. I think that Jeremy and I are both guilty of like, keeping our phones on, in reach or whatever. It's hard to disconnect, but I think that it's so valuable that, that you prioritize that. And
I mean, I know it's probably a pain, especially, when you're in I don't know, a lot of people trying to get a hold of me, and if I'm gone hunting, man, I'm gone hunting, and I'm sorry, I'll get back to you later. But I love nothing more than not having service.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find a spot today where you don't have service, but that spot in South Dakota, I don't have service. I have to drive about 10, 15 minutes down the highway to get some bars, and then obviously when you're elk hunting, you get in a lot of spots where you don't have service. But, it's just, you're just always connected, always, everywhere. You go home from work and your phone is, someone's texting you or you're getting emails, on the weekends. I mean, it's just the age we live in. You're always connected. And so, man, I just have to have that.
Yeah.
I got some,
have that time where I can no one can get a hold of me and I'm fine with it for a few days.
I've got some valuable advice. I mean, you guys are both a lot older than me. So
if I'm out of line, a lot older than you. Gee, you see how he goes at that right out of the gate? He's like,
you're 10 years older than me.
9.
Yeah. So anyways, well, here, if I'm out of line, just check me. But I want to tell you something that worked for me is like, dude, do you have your phone on vibrate or some kind of a ringtone?
Just vibrate.
It vibrates every time you get a text or an email or something like that?
Not an email. I have to fetch
mine is phone calls and text will vibrate. Yeah. No email. No, I'd lose my mind if mine vibrated every time I got an email.
Listen, over time, just like, I use my cell phone for work and all that. And like, I was getting so many notifications that it was like vibrate. I was getting like a nervous tick. Like I literally, like I would think I would get my phone wouldn't even be in my pocket. And I would think I was like, did my phone go off? And I had a good friend of mine give me some great advice. This is the advice I'm passing on. Dude, at some point I just had to like go cold turkey and I shut off all the notifications on my phone in terms of feel or sound. So like they're still coming in, and if I
check it,
if I look at it, I can see them all. And if I get a phone call, it obviously makes a noise. But like, dude, that was one of the most valuable things that I ever did. It's to the point now where I can literally control when I'm looking at my phone and not somebody wants to get a hold of me. Somebody wants to get a hold of me. I'm constantly getting pulled to my phone.
And I don't mind it in like the work day. Like if I have it on like if I'm working, it's a good way to catch my attention. Like if somebody's calling or a text message or whatever that needs addressed. But yeah, it's a weird thing because, the society as a whole has become so connected to that thing that like there are people that have, and I know I find myself even guilty, like have anxiety attacks when like they can't find their phone. Like it's not on them or within arm's reach.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing. Don't get me wrong, because like I'll be in the deer stand in Kentucky and like I'm working today, guys. Like here I am, which is awesome. But at the same time, like, you know, to the fact where it like always needs to be within my arm's reach. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
So it sounds like I need to go elk hunting with Jeremy and get lost in no service.
Yeah. Well, and that was just my 2 cents there was like, dude, you know, I was that way. I was constantly being my phone. And like, I still check it, but it's on my terms now. So anyways, yeah.
Well, and when I'm hunting, I usually it's like it's vacation. Like I have to turn in vacation time. It's not like everyone thinks because I work at Hoyt, I get a part of my job is like, no, not really.
You don't?
Turn in vacation hunting. So if I'm on vacation, I have no problem turning my phone off.
Man, I'd be like product testing November 1st to the 14th.
Yeah.
These are work days.
I've tried working that in.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, Jeremy, are you originally from Utah then?
Yeah. Born and raised here in Utah.
Very cool. In the Salt Lake area or?
Yeah. Yep. Here in the Salt Lake Valley.
Damn, that's awesome, man.
Yep.
How cool is that to like, there it is. Has Hoyt always been in Salt Lake area or is that like?
So Hoyt originally started in St. Louis, Missouri in 1931. I mean, long time, 91 years ago. Started in St. Louis, Missouri by Earl Hoyt. And then in the 80s, the Easton family bought Hoyt and kind of slowly, first they moved the sales and marketing to Salt Lake because they already had a corporate office here. And then they moved the manufacturing in the early 90s. So over a period of time, they moved Hoyt from St. Louis to Utah. And now there's a runway at St. Louis Airport where the original Hoyt factory was. So
wow,
information there. But so it's been Hoyt's been in Salt Lake since the 80s, early 80s and 90s, depending on what part of the company you're talking about.
Very cool, man.
Originally, we were in like a little room in the Easton factory, and we could keep up there and build bows there. But as we grew and expanded, we finally got our own place. And that was, sometime in the 90s, got our own building. And so we operate completely independent and separately from Easton, even though we're both owned by the Easton family. Greg Easton, Jim Easton originally, and Greg Easton now owns both companies. But we have separate management, separate presidents, separate buildings and locations, and separate budgets. We're two totally separate companies. So,
how long have you been with Hoyt, Jeremy?
Man, I started here almost 18 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny. So before I worked here, I was just, I was one of those Hoyt guys. Like I had a Hoyt hunting bow and a Hoyt target bow. And every October I knew they were about ready to come out with new bows. And I'd go down to the dealer like all the time. Like, did you get new bows yet? Did you get new bows? Did you get a new catalog? And I just wanted to see what Hoyt was coming out with next, and how that time of year is, and it still is. Every year, bow companies come out with new bows, and we all want to see what they are. And so the job I had at the time was moving to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I had a young family, and all my family's here, and I didn't really want to move to Albuquerque. And plus, I was kind of looking to get out of that job, and so I started looking for work. And back then, because I'm so old, Jared.
Yeah. See,
how old are you, Jared? I gotta ask.
We used to look for a job in a newspaper, right? I mean, I would literally get out the newspaper.
Oh my word, newspaper! I'm 28, so I can say that you guys are old.
So anyway, I'm looking through the newspaper, and there's a job for Hoyt, and I was like, no way. It was in a field I was working in at the time, which was supply chain.
Cool.
And so it's funny. I did not even trust the mailman to like deliver my resume. I drove down here to Hoyt. I walked in the front door. And I turned it in at the front desk, and because I didn't want to take any chances. Like, this is my dream job. Are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
Not trusting the post office with this. And I was on a family trip. About a week later, we were in San Diego, and my phone rang, and it was Hoyt's number. I was like, oh no. So I answered it, and they were wondering if I could come in for an interview tomorrow, the next day. And I was in San Diego. I'm like, well, maybe I need to see if I can get a flight. And they're like, wait, we thought you lived in Salt Lake. And I'm like, well, I do, but I'm on vacation in San Diego. And I was like in the parking lot of SeaWorld with my family, getting ready to go spend the day in SeaWorld. And
listen, kids, here's $20. Go see Shamu, and like I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I would have too. but the HR gal, she's like, you know what, we can just schedule this for next week, no problem. When you get back, you know, we'll call you back. And I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, no problem. I says, okay, but don't hire anybody. She probably hung up the phone and told the HR manager, I think we can hire this guy for like $10 an hour.
Yeah, he's ready to work right now.
That's funny.
So anyway, yeah, I got back, went in, had the interview, got an offer, and still here 18 years later, man.
And what was the position at the time, Jeremy? I assume it wasn't for marketing director, right?
No, it was in supply chain. I was a buyer. I was in purchasing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I did that for about a year and a half. And the director of marketing at the time, he like grabbed me one day and he's like, hey man, why don't you come work in marketing? He was like being all sneaky about it, you know? And I'm like, marketing? I don't even know. This just looks like you guys read magazines and watch videos all day. Like,
he's like, exactly.
I don't even know what you do. I'm like, right now, like I'm working like, I am busy. Like my day goes fast. I'm contributing to the company. And he's like, Jeremy, this is marketing at Hoyt. Like, stop for a minute and think about this. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Anyway, he's like, I promise you will be busy. You will love it. You'll never look back. And so sure enough, man, I'm still in marketing.
The rest is history.
Who was this previous marketing director at Hoyt that pulled you in?
Yeah, his name was Mike Looper.
Mike Looper.
Yeah.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he lives here in Salt Lake. He doesn't work at Hoyt anymore, but he's still around. Those that kind of know him know what he's in the industry. But
very cool, man.
You ever call him for advice, for old time's sake?
Excuse me. Not for advice, but we stay in touch. We've got a lot in common, and we catch up from time to time, make sure everybody's family's doing well and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man. It's funny when you, and that's kind of the cool thing about the industry, right? I mean, if you can, get into a job. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it was basically like I'm excited when I get up for work and like go there, and I just like can't fathom people that get up and go to work and like hate it because you do it so often. Like how can you force yourself day after day, year after year to like get up and go to a job that you spend whatever 60+% of your life at and be like, yeah, I hate this.
Wouldn't that be miserable?
That's terrible, man.
I know, man. We're so lucky. Like it is work and it is busy and they do, I don't know. It seems like everyone I know in our industry is overworked, right? I think we get taken advantage of a little bit because we're passionate about it.
Sure.
And our companies know we'll put up with it. And they know we don't mind because we're passionate about the brand and the lifestyle and our customers. And so I think we do, I don't know, maybe people outside our industry get worked to the bone just the same, but it seems like we're willing to put up with it because we're passionate about it. And
that's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard anybody come out and actually say that. That's definitely happens.
That's definitely happens, man, because you do enjoy the lifestyle so much that you're willing to put up with some of that stuff. And that's it. I mean, I tell people all the time because they're like, man, I wish I could like be in the hunting industry. And I was like, dude, I'm stressed every day of my life. Like it is a constant thing. So like when I get time to like not have to do that stuff, like it's really nice to take advantage of it. But I think to your point earlier, like, just because we're in the industry, like a lot of the people who hunt but aren't in the industry will say, well, man, like you probably just hunt whenever you want. And I was like, dude, I hunt a lot less now than I used to hunt.
Well, there's a fine line or almost like a facade of like, people want to hunt for a living. Like who hasn't thought that, and then at some point there's a realization of like, first of all, that's not a real thing, and the people that are as close to doing that as it gets, I don't know. Maybe that's not as good as it seems. At least I we got close enough to kind of, and nothing against any of these guys. Some of these are partners of Hoyt. These are people that are perceived as hunting for a living. And I think even they've had to acknowledge, like, man, it's not that.
They're on the road for 70+ days a year.
You have to find a way to separate, business and pleasure, or if the two are intertwined, like, have a way to still enjoy it and separate business from pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
When you so the one thing that I think is cool, and one of the bow shops Jared and I go to, is like it seems like your dealers just, I don't know, they just really appreciate working with the company. And like there's definitely other manufacturers who are really in tune with that independent dealer side of things, but there's been a lot of manufacturers who have gone, big box essentially, and I think that it's funny, and it's no knock to the big box companies, but it's like, dude, I don't think I could ever take my bow to one of those guys and like know that they were actually taking care of me.
Well,
or
you
doing
know better.
Well, and then I think a lot of people don't, and so I think that when people walk into a bow dealership and they're actually talking to those people across the counter, like they're getting the real deal of like, okay, these guys actually care. It's kind of like our level, but just at a different level, right? They're still industry people. In fact, most of those bow techs don't hunt like at all because they're busy. People are still getting their bows prepped October 1st for the opener tomorrow.
I mean, those are your grassroots, that's Jeremy's grassroots marketing is the dealers.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we do have a unique, I don't know if it's unique, but it feels like it's a unique sales model or distribution model where we are in pro shops only. I guess it's maybe similar to a high-end golf brand, golf club, and people ask me all the time, like, why aren't you in, such and such box store, or why don't you sell online? And man, at the end of the day, a bow for a lot of people is one of the most complicated things to set up. Right. It's more complicated than any other piece of sporting goods equipment I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
It's just every one of us is going to set our bow up different. Peep height is going to be different, poundage, draw length, and then you got to make sure your arrows are tuned in your bow and spined. Right. I mean, there's just so many levels of setting up a bow. And because, we're a high end brand. I mean, you can pay a lot of money when you buy a Hoyt. You get what you pay for. But if you take that bow home, and it didn't get set up right, you might not realize it didn't get set up right. You're just having a bad experience with the product.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just spend all this money on a Hoyt, you go home, it doesn't shoot well, you never get good at it because it's not tuned right. You have a bad experience. And in your mind, that's a Hoyt experience. But we know it's because no one set it up the right way. Yep. And so because of that is why we have the model we have where it's pro shop only. Being in the pro shop is the best chance you have of getting your bow set up right, in our opinion, right? And so at box stores or online sales, the bow shows up to your house in a box, and man, you don't even have an arrow rest for it, let alone D-loop material and a peep and thread to tie the peep in. I mean, and so that experience is just going to be, tough for you. But that's why we love our dealers, man. They do a great job. They get it. They're good at what they do. They're good at tuning bows and setting bows up. And so you leave the shop and your bow is tuned, ready to go, and you have a great archery experience. So
so critical, man. I want to give them a shout out. I guess since you brought them up, it's the, I don't know how hands are you on with the dealers, Jeremy, but Ultimate Outdoors in Holiday Park, Pennsylvania is where
right on.
It's Tim and Jason run that place, and I've been going there since I was my very first bow. When I was 10 or 12 years old. And I've moved several times since, and I've been closer to other, Hoyt dealers and other bow shops and stuff. But like, dude, I just can't. I have so much faith in those guys, and I put so much. It's so important that my bow is set up right, and that Jeremy's bow is, and that my dad's is. That's why I tell all you guys about it. And my dad drives 2 hours from his house to go see Tim and Jason. I drive an hour and 15 minutes at this point, but I make a point of getting there like twice a year, and even though. We're getting our bows straight from you guys at this point, and I, I feel bad not giving them the business and buying a bow from them. So I pay them extra, because I know they're giving me a super valuable
buy my
service.
Accessories from them, even though maybe I could get them cheaper somewhere else or something like that, or go down and we do the 3D shoot or the techno hunt down there.
So anyways, I've had an amazing experience with it. If anybody's looking for a bow shop, I do recommend them. And if you have interactions with Ultimate Outdoors, you tell them.
Yeah, they're good dudes.
Tell them I had a good interaction with them, and those guys are friends of mine.
That's good to hear, because I mean, it's the right model for us, but it's also a little stressful sometimes because we're putting our brand in someone else's hand, right? The final user experience for the consumer is happening at the dealer. And if that dealer is having a bad day, or that dealer for some reason is, not on board with our brand at the moment or whatever, they can reflect on our brand to the consumer. And so we put a lot of trust in them to hopefully, treat the consumers right and represent our brand right. And it sounds like your particular dealer does a great job of that.
They do.
For sure, man. So Jeremy, I know one thing, we talked about it last year and kind of as we opened this up, obviously kind of supply chain has been, you know, the bugaboo for everybody, right? And figuring it out. And you guys obviously, you know, typically flagship models are around that carbon technology. How have you guys, I guess, looked at that from last year to this year? And then do you anticipate having issues and you know, I guess bringing in that dealer side of it, you know, because those guys obviously depend on being able to get bows from you guys to be able to then sell to the customer side. So I guess I'm just interested to see like what you're kind of seeing on the end rolling into 22 after what seemed to be like a hard 21 for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, you know, supply chain issues are still real. I mean, not only in our industry, but everywhere.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I needed our stove broke right before Thanksgiving. Right. I ran down to Lowe's thinking I would just bring a stove home.
No.
Or an oven. And they were like, yeah, we can get that for you in 3 weeks. I'm like, what?
Yes.
3 weeks. So, you know, and it's the same in autos. It's the automobile industry. I mean, everyone's struggling with it right now. And so it's going to continue to be a challenge. You know, and just everybody's lead times have gotten longer and it just gets passed down. And so, you know, it takes longer for us to get materials and raw materials to build bows. So then it takes us longer to get the bows built and get them to our dealer. But we are so far in 2022, we're in a lot better shape than we were in most of 2021. So it feels like things are getting better. They're not perfect by any means, but they are better, you know, and so our lead times are a lot shorter right now than they were last year at this time.
Cool.
So I think things are improving, you know, but it's going to continue to be a challenge. And, you know, who knows all the unrest going on in the world right now, if that's going to add anything. I mean, I don't know. You know, I was just reading an article. This doesn't have to do with bows, but, you know, the auto industry's already been struggling. And now I guess Russia's the largest world provider of the material that goes into catalytic converters, palladium or something like that. And so there was this article saying that it could get worse before it gets better in automobiles.
They're already stealing that shit at my boat ramp, so now it's going to go through the roof.
Palladium.
Yeah, right.
The catalytic converters. It's like a real thing. Like you park your boat at the boat ramp, right? And like these thieves will come in and climb under your vehicle and cut that catalytic converter out, and it's worth big bucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like a major thing. Now I live.
If I pulled up our local news station right now, one of the first stories is a man arrested at the Salt Lake airport for cutting off catalytic converters. Anyway, the point is, you know, there's still a lot of unknowns in the world and supply chain.
It is, man.
Still going to continue to be, you know, a struggle. But we're delivering really well right now. I mean, if you want a Torex or a Venom Pro, those are being built almost immediately.
Awesome.
So carbon bows, we have really high demand on carbon right now. The RX-7 is a phenomenal bow. And so there's higher demand than normal for that bow. We got a lot of orders, but then carbon continues to be hard struggle on the supply chain side. But with that said, our lead times are months shorter than they were last year at this time. So
we had some pretty good conversations over the last few podcasts, just talking about hunter numbers and stuff. You know, I think Hoyt as a brand probably is driving demand in terms of just people are recognizing and continue to recognize like the quality of the brand and the product. I guess number one, did you guys see a spike in like 2020, 21 with demand in like COVID? I guess let's ask that first.
Yeah, big time. It was great early in 2020. If you think back, like March, April of 2020, and the pandemic hit, and everybody had to, you know, businesses were forced to close. And boy, I mean, if you think about, we just talked about who our dealers are, right? They're these independent shops. They're not big corporations that could, you know, weather the storm by being closed down for weeks at a time. They didn't have this big pot of cash to sit on. I mean, it's just regular guys like us that own a bow shop. And so, you know, we were way nervous, like, holy smokes, what's going to happen? I mean, if this closure continues.
Yeah, that's your point of sale. I mean,
will they be able to reopen? Luckily, it didn't last too long. And then luckily, everybody was like, well, if I can't do anything, if I can't go anywhere, I can go outside. I can go outdoors. I'm going to go back. I'm going to get back into hunting, or I'm going to try hunting, or I want to get a bow. I can shoot in my backyard. And so, yeah, at first it was like way stressful, and then it just took off. Like
Wow.
everybody wanted a bow, and tag numbers were up, and states were selling out of tags, and all our favorite hunting spots had twice as many people as we were used to seeing. And
This is true.
so, but yeah, so it was great for business, and it still is. I mean, we're still feeling that today. People still have a high interest in the outdoors and want to go hunting, and whether that's just to get outdoors, or whether it's to fill their freezer. I'm not, I don't know all the reasons that it's
Sure.
spiking, or that we're enjoying a high demand, but yeah, it's been good the last couple of years, really good.
We had an interesting conversation, Jeremy, just last week with Brian Burns,
Mm-hmm.
who is the director of the Pennsylvania Game Commission.
Okay.
We covered a lot of different topics, but one of them, was spurred by and it sounds like your shared observation of a lot of people on public land bow hunting. Or hunting during the archery season,
Mm-hmm.
and one kind of one of like the really interesting things that we came away from that podcast knowing that at least I didn't know beforehand was that at least in the state of Pennsylvania, crossbows are technically and legally considered the same thing as vertical bows and as traditional bows.
By statutory law.
By statutory law, they're all considered archery tackle. And so the Game Commission, even if they wanted to, would have no jurisdiction to say, like, well, why don't you get a separate season, or however they would want to delegate that. Can't happen. It's the same thing. So I'm curious, as the marketing director at Hoyt, what? They're not, obviously, right? Like that's my stance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're asking me my opinion on crossbows?
I guess, yeah.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah. So I think personally, I would love to see crossbows have their own season.
Yeah, me too.
I think that would be healthy for the archery industry,
Mm-hmm.
because, right now there's a lot of guys like us guys right here on this podcast, and probably most of your listeners, like, we're diehard archery bow hunters, probably, right?
Mhm.
Or we're diehard hunters, and whatever our style. But I think there's a lot of hunters they just need a tool to fill their tag, whether that's a bow, a crossbow, or gun. It don't matter. Whatever season's going on, what's the easiest tool for me to go use and shoot something.
Mhm.
So if an archery season is you can use a vertical bow or a crossbow, a lot of guys will just choose a crossbow because it is easier. I mean, you look through the scope and you hold it like a gun and you shoot the arrow and you got it, and so I think that's affected the vertical bow sales over the past few years, because crossbow is just a little bit easier tool to go for
Sure.
your tag if that's what you're looking for.
Interesting.
If you're a bow hunter and you love bow hunting and you love shooting your bow and you love going to 3D shoots and that's just who you are, it's your
Mhm.
life, then the crossbow isn't of interest. You don't care about it. You don't want one. You'd rather have your bow, and and that's how I am.
Yep.
So I think if crossbows had their own season, a lot of guys would then have a vertical bow for vertical bow season, archery season. They'd have a crossbow for crossbow season. They're going to have a shotgun or a muzzleloader for
Yep.
firearm season.
Yep.
And so that's I think my only hang up is that crossbows are allowed during archery season.
Yeah.
I think they need their own season. And, other than that, I don't have a problem with crossbows. I think they've come a long ways. They're actually pretty cool.
100%.
Some of those crossbows are right on, they're legit, but
Yeah.
I just don't like them during archery season.
Has it ever come up in a Hoyt discussion if you guys should make one?
Oh yeah. All the time.
And where have those conversations led?
I mean,
the time.
it's never probably gotten out of the boardroom.
Are
know
you
what I mean? It's
are
not
you
like-
the one shutting it down?
No. It's like all of us here are big time bow hunters. Like
Yeah.
we're not interested in the crossbow, and so we ask ourselves, like, yeah, we're probably leaving money on the table, but would any of us be passionate about designing
Mhm.
this, building it, marketing it, selling it? And then I mean, some of your listeners that are waiting 6 to 8 weeks to get their vertical bow from us are like, yeah, don't add anything else to that factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get me my bow, So I don't know. It's, and then I don't know. There's a warranty rates with crossbows are way high because it's basically a dry fire every time.
Yep.
You got a 180-pound bow and you're shooting a lighter arrow than you shoot out of your compound.
Yep.
I mean, it's a dry fire every time. So components wear out and you got a lot of warranty issues. And we just haven't wanted to go there. Haven't needed to.
I think it's refreshing, man. And that's no knock to any company that is in that space, but it comes down to it's just not who you guys are, and again, it's acknowledgement that there's nothing wrong with crossbows. They have their place, but for you guys, in terms of going back to that passion of coming to work and really, being involved and invested in what you do, yeah, I'm sure you are leaving, because I guarantee if Hoyt would put a crossbow out, people would buy the hell out of it. They're like, it's a Hoyt crossbow, but it's just not who you guys are as a brand. And I think that's respectable.
I think it would weaken the brand significantly too, though. Like if, it's just me personally. And I realize as like a vertical bow.
So wait till you're like 70 and you can't pull a bow.
Your age, you mean? Yeah. Well, dude, we've had a lot of it's interesting to hear, your take on, thinking that maybe it's affected bow sales even because,
yeah, that's a great point.
Well, we've been speculating, like where are all these crossbow guys coming from? It doesn't seem like there's very many vertical bow guys being like, oh, I want to shoot a crossbow now, unless they have an injury.
Sure,
that definitely happens.
Age, injury. Yes.
It seems to be more on the side of like
gun guys,
new or rifle, shotgun slug guys that are like, hey, I want to take advantage of this full season. Like I want to hunt the rut, or I want meat in my freezer in October. That are like, hey, I want to get into this season, but I don't have time to practice with a a traditional or even a compound bow. So.
Well, I mean, I go back to, since it was so long ago, just a refresher.
By the way, like I don't actually think you guys are old. So.
Yeah, right. We'll hold it to you. But no, when I grew up, like I'm sure there were crossbows, but like they weren't nearly as popular as they were. So like I started with a recurve, and then moved up to a compound after that. But like my kids start with and they're starting a lot younger than I was, but they're starting with a crossbow because it's easy. They can't be lethal with a vertical compound bow. They're not at that age yet. So it's a great entry point for them. But with the understanding, and I think this is where we get in arguments with people that listen to this, Jeremy, but it's like, I want them to evolve. So it's like, cool, go enter the hunting phase and harvest a few deer and get happy and be successful. And then the next challenge is pick up a vertical bow and try to kill one with a compound bow, when you're 11, 12, 13 years old. And it's just because you need to evolve as a hunter, right? And eventually you'll find that to where like you love that and you realize like that's all you want to do. And there's a lot of people that are just, I think to your point of, it was a really good mark there on, they're just looking for the tool to fill a tag. If I was looking to do that, yeah, I'd hunt with a rifle way more than that, and I'd probably hunt with a crossbow. I'm looking at it as like, I just want that extreme up close personal experience. And even if I don't tag out, it was still freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, everyone's, I guess the most important thing is hunters, we all kind of need to stick together, right? I mean, there's enough groups trying to attack us. If we're attacking each other, then that's, not good for anybody. So I guess I just want to make sure everyone understands I'm not against crossbows.
Sure.
You asked my opinion on, on them. And my opinion is they should have their own season so that, vertical bow companies can still sell bows to people who want to hunt during archery season.
I think that's a great point, man. I didn't even think about that. And the fact that like,
didn't think about what?
If it was a separate season.
You didn't think about that?
Well, no. Yeah, I thought about a separate season, but that they could then purchase a vertical bow in addition to the crossbow versus I'm going to just shoot a crossbow.
Well, see, I'm not the director of, I didn't make that statutory legislation, but like I would make it so that the most difficult weapon to kill an animal with would
have the longest season.
Well, it would overlap all of the seasons. And so, so like, so guys that have heard us say, crossbows are, simpler to take on, easier to kill with. They would say, well, then why don't you go shoot a traditional bow? And yes,
great question.
100%. You're right. Like, and if it, if you were going to hold me to my words and say traditional archery should have its own season that starts before compound, I would say you're right. I would say you're 100% right,
man. If they said, hey, listen, instead of October 1st for bow season, for vertical bow season, it's going to be November 15th. But if you shoot a recurve from October 1st to November 15th, it's legal. I'd be shooting a recurve.
Yeah, dude, the length, exactly. That's the point. Is I would too. If I could hunt earlier, I would. If I could hunt in, starting in July, August with a slingshot, I would do it. You know, the length of the season needs to be, in my opinion, tied to the lethality of the weapon.
Well, and I don't know about all states, but especially in the gun hunting community, there's a lot of uproar on that. They don't like the archery hunting community, right? Because they say instantly, well, you guys have 2.5 months, I get 2 weeks, or whatever it is, or it's over the counter and I've got to draw. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, because it's way more lethal with the weapon you're using. Like, it's just clear.
Yeah, seems clear.
Yeah, it does.
They're hard conversations to have, Jeremy.
And then it's tough though, because if you try to talk to the Fish and Game, I mean, they just have a deer problem. Yes. Like, why would I do something that makes it harder for people to go out and kill a deer? Like, we got too many deer right now. We're
100%
trying to manage inventory here. So they're not necessarily interested in that idea either. And so
I like that he said it that way, that it's just easy to kill deer. Like,
yeah,
in the same way that I would be for that traditional archery season. I generally speaking, like, if there was a side of politics as it relates to like hunting, I would forever be on the side of making these animals harder to kill. You know what I mean?
But because of the other stakeholders in the legislative process, it'll never be that way, because the farmers will complain, the auto insurance companies will complain, and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Well, and even in this conversation, it's like, it's hard not to sound like an elitist or sound like we're against people who hunt with crossbows. Like, we're not at all. I have a lot of great friends that hunt with crossbows, and I'm not against them, and even though it might hurt their feelings, I don't know. Like, I am against the fact that it's been legislated that it is the same weapon, because I believe that it is not.
Yeah, agree. Jeremy, switch subjects just slightly, but because you're in Utah and it's been on my radar for a while, you guys have a proposed law to ban trail cameras right now.
Yeah, it just passed.
It did.
See that? I think that's
so from July 31st to January 31st, it's against the law to use trail cameras for hunting.
Wow. On private and public?
Yeah. Cool.
Holy shnikes.
How do you feel about that?
What's that?
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I personally don't like it. The hunting community is kind of split down the middle on it. But personally, I don't like it. I don't know. It started out with, being a proposed law for cellular cameras, that can send a picture. And I was probably okay with not having cellular cameras during hunting season. I can see the reasoning behind that. But I don't know. Personally, I don't have a problem with using cameras during hunting season. I think it should be allowed.
Oh, I didn't necessarily realize it was all cameras.
All.
And is there a justification for that? I mean, you probably know more about the issue than we do.
It was privacy. They lean on the privacy thing a lot, in terms of, like, if you put these on public land somewhere, that you might get somebody hiking and it violates their privacy. And
bro, you want to talk about privacy?
The law is only around hunting.
That's
so you can't use a trail camera for hunting.
But if I'm monitoring my cattle water hole for my cows,
or if this corn pile is for squirrels exclusively.
Exactly. But for a non-hunter, if for some reason they just like catching images of wildlife,
they could
use it. They can put their camera out.
That's crazy, man. And I get it. I get the cellular stuff too, although I'm like a complete nut on it. Like, and it's just because I don't have enough time to go out and check 25 cameras or multiple states. Like, I love cellular cameras for that aspect, that it gives me some of my time back. I get it in terms of, people abusing it to the fact that there is no skill in, like, actually patterning the deer, whatever. But the fact that, like, I think people immediately say, oh, you use trail cameras, that's cheating. It's like, dude, you go out and put a trail camera somewhere, unless you're putting it over a bait pile, and then try to get deer or elk or whatever pattern in front of it. There's still a lot of skill in that placement of that camera.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, in Utah, it's a hot topic right now, and the Division of Wildlife has said they're going to revisit it, try and clean it up a little bit, because right now the rule, like I said, it's only around hunting. So how do you prove that a camera out there is for somebody hunting or not hunting. And then I don't know. So they're going to try and clean that up and revisit it. I think they were a little hasty when they implemented it, and
I'd start.
and it wasn't coming from like the wildlife board. It was coming from a state legislature
Yep.
issue. And, so somebody was lobbying and someone got a state representative to try and push it through. And the wildlife board had to react before it became, they reacted to make it a wildlife policy before it became a state law, because then it's a lot harder to go and fix it, and
Yep.
so
That's your super agency, because it's all under the one.
Yeah. Talking about different agency structures last week.
I'd be putting out a bunch of trail cameras for Sasquatch research pretty damn quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is clearly to catch a Sasquatch.
It is interesting. Like, I've never been posed with the issue of like if trail cameras were banned. Like,
and it's happening fast, man. What, Arizona just went down this year, I think.
Yeah, I think Arizona and
Montana.
Nevada have similar. Montana was either talking about it or did it. I'm not sure, but
well, see it. And like, and I'm not going to disagree with you, Jeremy. Like, obviously we're southwestern Pennsylvania, but like in the spirit with what I was just saying there, like, I tend to think I would be okay with that. Like, yeah, I would be inconvenienced. Mm-hmm. Like, I use a lot of cellular trail cameras. That's a huge advantage. The past 3 bucks I've killed have gotten their pictures taken, like, as I was shooting them. But I love big, mature whitetail bucks, and I want them to have the best chance to get old. Mm-hmm. And if that puts me at a disadvantage, and along with everybody else, like,
it'd be interesting. I mean, because I don't think it's an assumption, right? Right now is that if you're using trail cameras or cellular trail cameras, if we take it to the next level, that more animals are being harvested because of them.
They 100%.
We don't know that, though.
I do. Personally, cell cameras kill deer. I'll tell you that right now.
Maybe. I mean, it makes sense logically, but like, there's no data to support it. There's observational to say, well, I saw that buck this morning there. I went in this afternoon and I killed him.
Okay, but be real with me. Do you think that cell cameras kill deer?
Yes.
Okay, so.
But I'm trying to be unbiased here.
Yeah, sure. But we all know the truth, so let's not pretend like we don't.
I don't know. I mean, and it's easy maybe for us whitetail guys. Like, if Jeremy's sitting in the office and he's got a cell camera up on a mountain on a public area,
different beast,
and you see a bull elk come through, can you leave your desk and get there and still kill him? Probably not. Maybe. Depends how fast you drive.
Most likely not. Some of and it might seem really weird to, some of your listeners like, what's the deal with that, with cameras? But if you out here in the West, we have, it's just so dry, right? So any water hole is going to have a camera on it, and a water hole in a good area is probably going to have 10 or 12 cameras on it.
So
at least, right? And so, again, I'm not saying I'm for or against this. I'm just explaining some of the reasoning or some of the arguments for banning the cameras. But anyway, so some of the thought behind banning it is that if there's 10 or 12 cameras on a water hole, and so guys are coming in, if they come in once a week or twice a week, you've got 20 or 30 trips into that water hole over a few day period. So when do the animals kind of get their chance to go to the water? And so again, until you've been out here and you've seen how dry it is, and you see one water hole that just gets pounded with every animal within, 5 miles. But now all of a sudden you got 15 guys coming in 2 or 3 times a week and just disturbing them. The animals are like, man, when is it safe to go get water? So that's one of the arguments of why they say we're going to do this.
Is that real, Jeremy? You're saying there's like 10, 12 cameras. Is that an exaggeration or literally?
No, that's not an exaggeration. On some, not every water hole.
But like on a hot water hole.
In
southern Utah, for example, southern Utah, where there's a premium unit called the Ponsagant, and it takes a lot of points to draw it. There's giant deer down there. There's a lot of outfitters working that area. If you draw a tag, every outfitter is going to get a hold of you and ask if you want to use their services. Anyway, so there's a bunch of cameras on these water holes down there. And so you get guys, blocking each other's cameras and covering them up.
Wow.
Or stealing their cards out of them. It's unfortunate.
Is that the same area of Utah that a lot of the mule deer will move down into the Kaibab?
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar country.
Similar country. Because that's what I done some work on the Kaibab in Arizona, and they would talk about like these migrations, I guess, of muleys moving from southern Utah into the Kaibab, and I mean they were giants.
Yeah. So.
But it was once in a lifetime draws, and then you'd see some 13-year-old kid. He's like, "Yeah, it's first year I put in," and I drew, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
Want to be my kid?
So,
yeah.
Anyway, hopefully they get that game camera law sorted out a little bit. I mean, there's got to be a middle ground, I feel,
Yeah.
So.
Well, it'll be per the argument of there's no data. It'll be interesting to see if they do ban that in the next several years. Is there a change in harvest success rates or something? I would assume that it affects Western hunting less than it affects whitetail hunting in the Midwest and East, just because, again, not that it's easier, but like if you're in them or you're around water and they're there, you're probably going to be a good chance out West. Whereas patterning a whitetail in Iowa or Kansas that's coming up and down a creek bed crossing 1,000 acres without that camera, that's a shot in the dark.
Say that again?
I'm just saying that I think it would affect harvest in East for whitetails more than it would in the West for big game, having no trail cameras.
I don't know, dude. It sounds like what he's saying is like that they're real tied to those water holes. Like that's...
Well, yeah, but you don't need a camera for that. If that water hole's there, they're probably there.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying.
At least my thought.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
How many trail cameras you run in a given season, or Jeremy?
I don't run very many. I have a couple out, and we have some family property. So mine's up by our cabin, and we've got a water hole. And so I've never actually killed a deer off that water hole, though. So between me and my, I've got two boys that are in their early 20s, and between all of us, we probably have 4 or 5 trail cameras is it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there's other guys though that live and die by them. There's guys that might have 20 or 30 up there. I've got a buddy, he's an outfitter, and he probably has, I think he said he has well over 100 cameras out for elk.
I bet.
And he's got them patterned so good. And he's an outfitter, so he knows their pattern, and then he knows where he needs to have his hunters. And so he kills a lot of early season bulls when most people are waiting for the rut. He's killing them early because he's got them patterned, And so for someone like him, this is way impactful. Like this changes his business, changes his livelihood. So, and some people might say, good,
right?
Good. He shouldn't be able to. It's an unfair advantage. And, I don't have time to go run all those cameras, and I don't have money to buy all those cameras. And so in their mind, that's, they're fine with this ban.
Sure.
But in other people who put in the work and understand it's not easy. I mean, they work hard, they hike a lot of miles, they got a lot of money invested in cameras. So in their mind, it's like, man, I'm willing to do this. I should be able to do it. But other people are like, well, I can't do it, so you shouldn't be able to do it. And it just kind of turned into a little bit of a fight. But
yeah, I can see that. There's going to be parties affected by either decision.
Yeah, no, I get it. I really get it on the public lands. The private lands one's a little bit squirrely on me because now you're telling me what I can and can't do on my own property. And
well, we've had some interesting because they already are. Like you can't go shoot $2 on it.
I know
it's your property.
But if I want to put a camera up, I should be able to put a camera up.
I agree.
Technically,
it's legal.
Yeah, Jeremy, I know we're kind of running short on time here. One thing I did want to cover, just because I think it came, and tell me if it didn't. Maybe it didn't come from your mind, but I think it was really cool when we started to see Hoyt back guys like Winke and Midwest Whitetail and some of these kind of like early digital stage shows, which really, broke the mold. And even like a Cam Haynes, who isn't like a traditional TV guy, that you would normally see sponsorships happening around a network. I guess number one, was that kind of your brainchild? And then curious just to like what you were thinking when those kind of opportunities came around.
Yeah. I remember when Winke brought this idea to me. I mean, it was way new for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, wait, you're gonna film a hunt today and you're gonna show it tomorrow? Like, wow. But I was everything Bill Winke does, he's been successful at, and he's just a hard worker, and he has a great vision for things. So yeah, when he approached me with that idea, I'm like, yeah, 100%, man, I'm on board. Like, this is going to be awesome. and it just blew up. Like if you think about during the rut, you know, and Winke's putting out videos of what happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were out in the stand yesterday and you're like, same thing happened to me. It just turned off. It got so slow yesterday. Or, dude, same thing with me, man. The rut was a peak yesterday. There were bucks chasing everywhere, you know, and so you can relate with what he's just putting out, you know, compared to traditional TV. It's like I'm watching this episode right now that might have happened 8 months ago, 12 months ago, 15 months ago. And so it's just entertainment at that point. It doesn't feel real to you. It does nothing you can relate to. But with his model where, you know, he's out hunting today and he's going through that footage tonight or in the morning and posting it tomorrow or the next day. I mean, it's so almost real time.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be able to have it digitally too, like, you know, he was first he was on his website and then he went to YouTube and then he went to, you know, Roku and Amazon. I mean, he just was making it available and you could watch it anywhere. And that was awesome because not everyone has Outdoor Channel or Sports
Sure.
Channel. You know, and if you don't, then where do you get your content? And when he started that, there wasn't a lot of content on the internet, on YouTube. Now there's tons of hunting content on YouTube and you can get your fix of watching hunting without having to have the Outdoor Channel or something. But yeah, Winke's model was awesome and he worked hard. I mean, if you think about what that is, like you're up early in the morning hunting and then you're hunting even late in the evening and you get back to the house and it's, you know, 9 o'clock and then you got to start editing footage and putting an episode together and then putting it up the next day. I mean, there's nothing easy about that, you know,
No.
but that model was successful, really successful. Now there's quite a few other, you know, other YouTubers or whatever you want to say, you know, other hunting groups doing that. And it's a great way to get content, you know, and it's being consumed at a high rate. So, yeah, I love being part of that. And we still are, you know, main sponsor of Midwest Whitetail.
I think it was just, you know, you kind of use that relatable term. And I think that's kind of really what maybe even reintroduced me to Hoyt in the 2000s from like knowing Horton in the 90s when like I started hunting and stuff, was that like you started embracing guys like that. And really it probably gave you guys a hell of a lot more content than most brands were used to because like this guy's putting out Hoyt content, you know, every other day at the you know, least. And meanwhile, these other guys are waiting for 13 episodes to air and then get the rights to those like 6 months later to do something with them.
Yeah. Just a completely different model, completely different way of thinking about it. And like I said, Bill was, as far as I know, kind of the first. Maybe he wasn't the first to do it, but he's the first to be really successful at it. And now there's a lot of guys doing it and producing a ton of content and working hard to keep it kind of real time and, you know, almost live. And it's kind of cool.
So with your exclusions on elk hunting and stuff, or I guess just your excursions on elk hunting, I meant, have you gone out with Cam and Joe at all out west?
Nope, I haven't. I've not hunted with those guys. They hunt in Utah almost every year, and we went up there to camp one, you know, for a day and just got photos and had dinner and kind of hung out. But I haven't hunted with them. I've hunted with Waddell here. Last year he came out of Utah.
Yep.
We hunted Utah together. But you know, I've hunted with Ralph and Vicky. I've hunted with a few others, but for the most part, like I said, when I go hunting, it's my vacation, and I'm hunting with my family or my good buddies. You know,
Yep.
I don't do a lot of industry hunts like you'd think I do. Hunting season's short and days off are limited. So
yeah,
it is short.
I like hunting with my family.
Well, I think it probably gives you that, and Jared and I talk about this all the time, and it's something that I try to be really careful with, which is hunting means so much to me personally, and because it's also work, that I have to make sure somehow I tease them apart. And so, you know, I would think that if you did, like, let's say you used all your vacation time to exclusively hunt with Hoyt partners, how do you separate the two?
Right.
You know, they're one and the same, basically. Every dinner, even though you may have had a great hunt, at some point during dinner, business is going to come up, you know? Whereas with your kids and your family, it's kind of like, you know, you're just hunting.
Well,
yeah,
dude, they're such a different thing, too, because, like, you know, use your example of to go out and hunt with, you know, Cam and Joe, like those are essentially business relationships through Hoyt, you know. Think about us sitting in Kansas camp in our underwear drinking Miller High Life. Like you can't do that with you know, just even a business acquaintance. Like
well, you can.
You'd like to get to that point, but it's like, dude, we are comfortable and we are enjoying it. And that's what hunting is, you know. That's what the camp should be anyway. So
well, I think that's it. It also comes back, and I guess this kind of all ties together. Is like we've tried to really get to the bottom of like, I don't know, as an industry professional, do you feel pressure for success or for something to, I don't want to say justify, but you know, to perform essentially because you're in this role. And Jared and I, you know, there's definitely times that I could say, yeah, I don't feel like it. You know, I'm just going out and hunting with the kids or whatever. But there's other times where it's like, you know, you feel a little bit of pressure to like, you know, I really want to be able to say like, hey, I was successful at this because people are listening to this show or, you know, they're looking at Hoyt and saying, here's Jeremy Eldredge, you know, director of marketing at Hoyt. Like how many 400-inch bulls has he killed?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There probably is that pressure. I don't feel it a lot. And I think it's because I do keep it separate, right? I don't have a Hoyt camera guy with me, or we're not trying to get content for Hoyt, because then it's different. Like, man, we got to get something killed.
Yes.
We need pictures. We need content.
Yes.
You know, so then there's that pressure. And I do have some of those hunts once in a while, you know. I mean, we do that. We if we're going hunting, hey, let's bring the camera guy and get some photos, whatever. So I do have a few industry hunts now and then, but for most of my hunts, they're personal hunts. So I don't have that pressure. It's like, it's no more pressure than anybody else. Like, yeah, I want to get a pitch. I want to fill my tag and want to have that experience and want to be successful. But I don't feel any added pressure just because of my position at Hoyt, you know. It's just, I don't know. I haven't put that on myself. I'm sure people feel it in our industry and they have that, but I haven't worried too much about it.
I think a lot of people feel it, man. And I think you're probably lucky that you have that mindset. Because I bet there's a lot of people that wish that they could, and they just, for whatever reason, they can't, you know, and it's got to be an awful feeling because you love it so much, you know, and that you really just want to be out there and hunt and enjoy it and be out there. But ultimately, like, if there's always that looming pressure, like, it sucks out the reason you're doing it.
Well, dude, there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we have a kind of our campaign this year is around the thought of this is freedom.
Yeah.
If you've seen that, you know, on our website or our ads, whatever. But, you know, we were just we were brainstorming like, man, what can our message be? You know, like what will be true for everybody? And it's around this idea of like, as bow hunters, like we probably understand the idea behind going hunting and feeling freedom better than anybody else, right? Like, it's that idea of when I don't answer my phone, I don't have service. Like, to me, that's freedom, you know, and it's just being out there, whether it's in the tree stand or in the backcountry, man, the feeling you have out there, just being outdoors, going hunting, the pursuit, hoping to see a big buck or a bull. Like, there is no greater feeling of freedom for me than that right there, you know? And so if I put this pressure on myself, like, man, I work at Hoyt, I've got to fill my tag. All of a sudden it becomes stressful and, you know, and disappointing if I don't fill my tag, rather than come home like just feeling great because I just had this awesome week in the woods, whether I filled my tag or I didn't, you know? And so I think, I don't know, I've worked here a long time, and you can get a little bit sideways in that space, like where it just becomes a job. And I purposely have tried not to let that happen. Like, I love hunting. If I didn't work at Hoyt, I would probably hunt more, to you guys' point, because I wouldn't be so busy.
Yeah.
I would hunt just as much if I didn't work at Hoyt as I do if I worked at Hoyt, because hunting to me isn't about Hoyt or my job. It's about like what I love to do. It's about who I am. And so, you know, it's about having that freedom out in the woods. And, you know, when you're out there, like, your phone's not ringing, you're not watching the news, it's no vaccinations, it's no masks, it's no Russia attacking Ukraine. It's like, you're just out in the woods, man. And you're just enjoying yourself, and just freedom from all the worldly worries, you know? And so, I've just worked hard to not let it be an issue. Like, I'm going hunting no matter what. So it doesn't matter.
Well,
Love
dude, and yeah, I love it too. And man, it's so easy to slip into. Like it literally happens as fast as, hey, we should film a hunting show. Oh, we need to kill. Gotta have 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stressed. Like, all of a sudden it's a job.
Like
it happens that easy. We've seen it happen to people. And it's too bad, dude. Even last year, Jeremy, I think we set out to film some of those. Not necessarily 13. We knew that wasn't realistic. We're like, hey, let's take a different format. Let's do a short film, format. And like, dude, immediately I think we felt that pressure of like, hey, we need to kill something on this trip. Like and it's just it's a kind of a dirty feeling a little bit.
Well, and it wipes the whole season because you get to October 1 and or November 1 and you're like, holy shit, like we don't have enough, like we don't have anything, or we have got very little. And it's like, now what do? Do you lower your standards just to kill? And it's a weird place that you don't want to get into. So
yeah.
Well, listen, Jeremy, we appreciate it, man. I know you got to jump on another call here. But again, we appreciate you coming on and sharing some stuff with us about Hoyt and just your background. It's really cool, man, because I do think that, what you guys are doing, I love the freedom aspect of it that you just talked about, because that truly is why we do it. And we've kind of put this podcast out there to, almost get to the root of like why everybody hunts, because we all do it for different reasons. And, but I think that there is a commonality there, which is, some sort of freedom within your own self, right? Which is like, that's why you do it. It's your escape from this and everything else, like you said, that's going on in the world. And, that's why COVID was, a blessing and a curse, and that, you see a lot of people be able to reconnect with the outdoors because there was nothing else. Like when a world that's so connected gets shut down, what's still there? It's the outdoors.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, man, yeah, we really appreciate it. We appreciate Hoyt's support of us as well here. And we'll have to catch up with you later this fall when you get back from one of your off-grid excursions.
For sure. Let's do it.
All right, Jeremy. It's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Awesome. So, I think that the cool thing is, and I, it's good to hear it from Jeremy directly, but I've heard several times from people that like, it was funny you brought up that like kind of disconnect that he does, but like, it's because he truly has found an ability. I mean, the guy's been in the industry for 18 years at Hoyt. He can do church and state. He can say, this is when I'm Jeremy at Hoyt. This is what I have to do. This is the business side of me. And then he could say, yeah, but I'm really working at Hoyt because I love to hunt, and now I'm completely disconnected from the industry side.
Well, I pointed out because, I'm the same. I do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say that because like, oh, Jeremy and I have that ability to do that. No, not at all. Like I'm freaking busy, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, it's because I think everybody has that ability, and frankly owes it to themselves.
Sure.
And it's not like you can just say, hey, boss, I'm taking the next 2 weeks off, whether you like it.
Yeah, but I'm my own boss most of the time.
Sure.
And I still can't do it.
Well, so yeah, case in point is like, dude, live your life, or execute it in a way that you're able to prioritize things that are important to you, whether it's a week in the woods, elk hunting, or whatever it is. Make sure you prioritize it and set up your work life and your family life so that you have the freedom to do it.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point. It in different stages of life for us. For me, it was probably...
I don't have kids.
Well, that's what I was going to say. 4 years ago or so, 3 years ago. So it was when Carter killed his first deer. I don't know, just running businesses and stuff was stressful. And at some point I looked at him and he was 7 or 8 at the time.
Whose kid is this?
Yeah, I was like, what? How'd you get that big? No, but I looked at it and I'm like, holy shit, like he's 7 years old and I like haven't, like he's been in the woods, but like I haven't put the effort into like, hey man, do you want to hunt? And like, I'll teach you, let's get involved. And so like, cause I remember even going home and it was funny. It's how I knew I was too wrapped up in work is I came home early at like 2 o'clock one day and I was like, yeah, I'm going to set up the target and stuff. I'm going to teach Harlan to shoot or teach Carter to shoot his crossbow. And like, we're going to get ready to go hunting here in 2 or 3 weeks. And she was like, you have time for that? And it was like, ding. And it was like, yeah, I'm done with that. I can't do that. Like I still can be as productive as possible and work as hard, but like there is a time frame that has to be carved out to like introduce these kids to what I love so much, which is hunting, or like, why the hell am I working so hard to begin with?
Yeah.
You know, and I think everybody has that kind of aha moment, you know, of like, you get so wrapped in something and you are working or you are doing it for a reason, but then all of a sudden something in the peripheral catches your eye and you're like, oh shit, that's the real important thing. And life's short, man, goes fast. So, you know, I think that, you know, if you're listening to this, and I love that Jeremy's able to do it. And frankly, I don't know how, because like we aren't the director of marketing for Hoyt Archery, and like, you know, I feel like I would be hunting with this guy and this guy and this guy. Like I feel obligated or something. He just shuts it off. And he's like, nope, I'm just gonna hunt with my kids and my family, and we're just gonna have fun doing that. And then I'll come back to work and we'll get back on that track.
Yeah.
And that's a skill that people don't look at. And I think it's an admirable skill if you would look at inside of this industry, especially.
Yeah.
To be able to shut it off. Because you know it as best as I do. Walk around, maybe not ATA this year, but like 2019 ATA show, or 20, I guess it was. Walk around that show and look at how many people are exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Like just exhausted because they just went and went and went and went for 70, 80, 90 days during September 1 to January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just spent. And it's like, I don't admire that.
Yeah.
You know, good for you. And if that's how you want to make your life, that's awesome. That's a tough way to make a living and probably not enjoy what you thought you were going to do, which is hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to quote Napoleon Dynamite there, say, follow your heart. That's what I do. But I think kind of in regards to, maybe I didn't speak up soon enough, but like, yeah, dude, Jeremy just realizes that he likes hunting with his family, or, you know, whatever those hunts are that he goes on, you know, I mean, to put words in his mouth, but you and I think do the same thing. So it's like, you know, we know what we like. You know, I like our trip to Kansas, and we don't film it. You know, it's
which is why we stopped filming hunter shows.
Yep.
We get this question all the time. They're like, "Where's this show?" And it's like, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. There's these things that I just, you know, we love, and so instead of seeking opportunities that maybe we could, it's like, hey, you know, if we really pursued, you know, Bill Winke, we could go maybe hunt with Bill, like maybe he would grace us with his breath. You know, we could go have some of these opportunities, but it's like, you know, I don't know. Yeah. It's like, it's separation of like what your mind and what your pursuit of like a career in the industry would tell you, and a pursuit of like what your heart is telling you, which is like, this is what I love. And this what I know is right.
And I think that's the thing is like, there's an eagerness about it to say, well, yes, I would love to go hunt with Bill, and I would.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. I would. At the same time, you have changed the reason why you're hunting. Again, kind of the point of this podcast is like, I'm not going to hunt with Bill because I'm going to hunt a majestic whitetail or be in the woods and stuff. I'm going to hunt with Bill because it'd be a cool thing to hunt with Bill Winke or Jeff Sturgis or Don Higgins or whoever it might be. It changes the mindset versus us sitting around in our underwear drinking Miller High Lifes and, you know, watching the hunting public on YouTube and laughing hysterically. And there's like the next morning we all wake up and most of the time it's like, cool, where are you going? I'll go here. You're going back there. Cool. Like there's just doesn't have to be forced coordination where our entire lives are forced into some sort of calendar, usually guided by this stupid thing. And this is our chance to not have that. You know, it's just kind of like, cool. Yeah, I might go and hunt down here because I didn't see shit up here last time. Great. Go do it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a hard conversation to box too. Cause like, you know, I don't want to just, you shouldn't stray away from opportunities either. You know, it's not, I would generally say like, hey, don't, you know, hunt with people like that. Obviously not,
no.
You know, but just, you know, just.
It goes back to the, you know, do you want, and you can have a mixture of both, but do you want the deer camp atmosphere, which is camaraderie and fun and hopefully success, or do you want the TV show mindset of it, which is basically you're out there trying to perform for purely success? I don't think.
There's that extreme end of it too.
But that's the show side. I mean, right? You're not going to go out and say, "Hey, Jared, let's make a TV show and not kill a damn deer." Nobody's going to watch that. We've talked about it. It's one of the reasons that we stopped doing the hunter side on a TV end. Is it's like, dude, we had a great adventure in North and South Dakota for 7 days. It's cool as shit. We didn't kill anything. There's only so many of those episodes you can put together before people are like, damn, these guys don't kill anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not maybe because of skill as much as it is you sacrifice a lot of your aggressiveness or techniques because you're filming. There's a guy with you. There's two guys trying to sneak up on one deer in a grasslands. Like there's a lot of things that fall into that. And I think it's an interesting take on it because, we see guys who really, I think, enjoy it and they do it right. But we also see, I think, a lot of people who are doing it purely because, to Jeremy's point, they need a tool to kill, and that's it.
Dude, isn't it weird? Not weird, but you remember those when self-filming was like the craze, and it was like
a lot of it.
Guys that come to mind would be Matthew Solo Cam for sure.
Yep.
I think a lot of the bow hunter die, type of guys.
I think Rising did a lot too.
Okay.
When it was like dream season stuff, they usually had a team, but they would individually film a lot.
Yeah, Matthew Solo Cam really stands out to me as them being like, my passion is for filming my hunts, and maybe at the time I was like, yeah, me too. Like I'm interested in that, but on the other side, it's like, I'm not interested in that at all. Like, I'm interested in hunting.
I went through a pretty strong phase of that in high school. And we filmed everything, every hunt we did. And I mean, some of them now, watching back of them, are freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Like shooting at deer, going across a golf course or whatever. Yeah. Like, it's just, they're funny. And some of them were successful, but most of the successful ones were like, I shot a button buck or something, but it's just that's what we did is because it was cool to make our own show. And I'm glad I have those, and some of the bucks, that one I haven't. The liver buck over here I did. Some of those ones I self-filmed.
Well, dude, that was during that time.
Yeah, and and it was cool to be able to be like, yeah, I filmed this. And go back to you and my dad and be like, you guys weren't here, but here, check it out. This is how it.
There's no doubt. It is cool.
And there's still an ounce of me because I went through that wants to do it. But dude, even the one I filmed in Kansas, not this past year, the year before, I was so pissed by the time I got to that stand because I had just lugged all of that damn gear in. I put all the camera arms up. I put everything up, and I'm just sweating. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing to do what? To get a shitty film because I'm trying to film myself?
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, that's why I guess I kind of think it's interesting is that for us, it's an inconvenience. It's super cool to have it on film, and we would love to have that. Obviously, that's a really cool piece of memorabilia.
I'm sure we'll try it again at some point.
But there was legitimately a class of guys that were like, "This is why I do it. This is the reason. We're filming this."
And they wanted to be a TV guy, whether they tell you that or not. They may say, "Well, no, that's not. No. The only reason you filmed is because you wanted to get sponsorships and be a TV hunting man."
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to up and just call anybody out for that, but it does seem like that culture was kind of groomed by that.
100%. It absolutely was. I mean, I know in the back of my head, not obviously the caliber of animals I was filming, but I was filming to make a show. At that time was just because I was in high school and college, but at some point would be to be a TV hunting guy and get sponsored. Why the hell else would you film it?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
It's kind of, and I take that as a little bit of a 180 from probably since, I don't know if it was it was probably late 80s. My uncles would film our deer camp every year on old school VHS and stuff. So maybe I think the first one I got them all burned on DVDs and stuff. It's really cool. 86 or 87 through mid to late 90s. Every year we had a deer camp film. And so Thanksgiving evening, we usually left for deer camp Friday and we'd be there till Monday or Tuesday. Thanksgiving evening after dinner and stuff, all the guys would be in the room. We would watch the old hunting videos. We didn't make those to have a TV show. We made those because that was back in the day of family videos, right? How many people now make family videos?
Yeah, none.
Nobody.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, dude, that's so bizarre. Yeah, I can remember my mom. Always would have the camera in her face, we film anything.
Because you wanted to document those memories and stuff. Now they live here.
Yeah,
this thing's a dangerous piece of equipment.
For sure. I thought I don't know. I was just flipping through Instagram or whatever. And I saw this video of it was Dwayne, the Rock Johnson, like just pulling up on a crowd of like people on like an open top bus, and like within seconds, like it was just instant reflex. Everybody pulls their phone. It's the first thing.
Yeah, that's our documentation. Yeah, think about it. When's the last time you saw anybody make a family film?
Well, whether it's a family film or recording with your phone, like I just think it's so bizarre that that's your first instinct. Record this scenario.
Well, but it used to be you only,
like, because I would just be like, Dwayne, what's up, dude?
It used to be you only filmed those like events or milestones, like graduations, birthdays, holidays. Yep. Now it's like probably every day I take at least one picture with my phone, I would assume.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At least one every day.
Well, and it's a tool. It's a valuable tool. Like, you need pictures of certain things. But, like, I think it can be fueled by, like, whether you know it or not, I'm going to post this to social media, or I'm going to share this on my Snapchat.
I did this today. I was going back through and I'm like, when did I find my first shed the last couple of years? And it's just like scroll.
Example of a good tool.
Yeah. And it's like,
so it is
like
useful.
You found new sheds.
It is useful, man. That's just like anything. It's a complicated world. You know, there's valuable tools that can have some significant consequences if you don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. But no, we appreciate Jeremy coming on and kind of going through that with us. Kind of cool story to see how he like ended up at or started at Hoyt, and like
it's pretty straightforward. Man. Saw an ad in the newspaper, took it to him in person, got the job.
That's what you call, commitment.
Came under the wing of the old marketing director, and he's been there for 18 years.
It's awesome. Very cool. Well, it is March 1st, so if you haven't yet, you should probably think about going out and shed hunting wherever you're at.
Or ordering your Hoyt.
Yep, ordering your Hoyt as well. Those RX-7s or the Venom Pros, I think, are the new aluminum.
You guys will be ahead of us. I think we're going to shoot the RX-5s again this year.
Probably.
Just because.
Yep, they're set up and ready to rock.
We can.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk to Jeremy and see what he wants to do. And then, shed hunting. If you're going to get any perennials in the ground, you got the next 60 days probably to do that. If you're going to do any TSI, March is a great time for that. Tree planting in March and April. Lots of great things coming up. And
if you gotta trim your apple trees, you're almost already too late.
Yeah, you're
which
about
I
done.
am.
So you're listening to this. It will be March 1 week from today, right? 7th?
Yep.
Did I do the math?
7th or 8th.
And so the next podcast you'll hear is with Mr. Sam Soholt. We'll have coming on the podcast and talking about there's a guy who came from the Bill Winke
public land bus talk.
Yep, the Bill Winke intern days to where he is now. That's how he came through.
Isn't it funny, dude?
What a pipeline, man.
If we drew like a family tree, like how many of them would get back to Bill?
Bill would be the mighty white oak.
Yeah, the mighty white oak. We should make him a shirt for that. He'd like that.
It's just his face on it, and like Aaron and and Sam and all these guys as the like
deep
that.
roots.
I like that. So, anyways, we appreciate you listening to episode 64 with Jeremy Eldredge of Hoyt, and we will see you next time.
Later.
Take me